These aren't characters per se. So podcast is us, so us is podcast.
As this podcast. Okay.
Well,
Thanks for your concern.
welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Ella.
And I'm Berenice.
Hi, how's it going?
It's
Hey,
going
superstar, how's your
good.
week been?
We're getting by. I am slowly but surely, okay? Actually, it's been good. I've been running around per usual, trying to make
Mhm.
sure all things stay in order. I'm making all the things I gotta do. There's like a holiday market coming up this weekend that I'm excited about. Except I've had like a few pretty dry weeks, like business wise, and I kind of crashed
Mhm.
out about it because I was like, am I just not good at this? Like, I'm not cut out for this. Like, besides all my efforts, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes the thing is like your efforts may not actually show until like months later, but I'm just a baby and I'm trying to figure it all out. So over the weekend, like a bunch of my things sold kind of quietly, and then I was like, what am I gonna bring to this market to sell? Right? Because yay,
Yeah.
things sold, but like now I need more things. If not, the first time I like did a pop-up in the reasons I didn't have that many things. And it's harder for people to like resonate with like one thing on the hanger rather than 30. That's just
Yeah.
giving yourself more options. So I'm going to focus on that, but I also just want to be really intentional about next year and how I go about things. And I feel like something that I really appreciated about like in like a buying role in my last job was that they did a lot of strategy meetings and like they just kind of reflected on how people buy things and forecast stuff for next year, which I just feel like every place that does that basically it's a business, you just have to do that. And mostly because I realize that a lot of people wait until Thanksgiving weekend and like to see Black Friday deals and see what things cost to make choices regarding what they want to buy or end of the year things or just in
Mhm.
general. Like people wait for Black Friday. And because I've always made my own clothes, I'm not that type of shopper. But now I'm like tailoring to people who don't have my brain, who don't have, that are looking for things to wear. So I realized that this weekend that I was like, oh yeah, in this buying job, we always talked about like Black Friday being a big like shopping holiday. I just had never had any personal stake in it. So I guess
Yeah.
like, you just don't see that. So just next year, like it's chill, like it's cool. I think because I'm working with really like tight margins, just life wise right now. Um, I just need to make sure next year is like, all right, we're gonna like really hone in that maybe there's gonna be like a period of time right before Thanksgiving where sales are gonna decrease. And we're still
Mhm.
gonna be able to sustain ourselves without it. And that's just the type of mentality that like I need to have, which is just something I've never had before.
I mean, you're doing it all, and I think, like, what's really interesting is that there's so much that goes behind a big retail store, and they have a bunch of different positions, and
Hmm.
you're kind of doing it all, and I think that's the same thing where, like, I don't know, just with, like, content creation, there's just this can apply to small businesses in general, is that, like, you do so many roles, and I even see it, like, with some of my friends who are, like, hairstylists or tattoo artists or estheticians. It's like, not only are you doing that, but you're also marketing, accounting, like all these different things, and it is a lot. And it's, I guess, like related to like what you said is I've just been really thinking lately, like I feel like I would do very well with getting an MBA, but I do not want to invest the money into it. So I've actually
Mm.
been reading a bunch of business books.
Okay.
Um and the one I'm reading right now is called Contagious, and it's just basically about like why do things go viral? Not viral in like TikTok, Ellen DeGeneres, but viral as in passing from one person to the other. And what are the marketing mechanisms
Mm.
behind that? And it's just been very interesting. And so I think that's just been like kind of my deep dive. I'm on a week break right now. Week break. I'm on PTO right now. And because I'm an insane person, I literally just kind of want to like soft launch as the person I want to be in at the end of 2026, if that makes sense.
I love.
Because
Okay.
I think one thing that happened with comedy and something that a lot of people don't talk about, but what happened to me personally is like I actually didn't like the lifestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard staying up late in a drinking environment, and then you're like, "This is gonna be forever," and then you're gonna be on the road, and then da 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 da, and so, like, let me just, like, soft launch right now if I actually like being a content creator and owning a small business, you know?
Yeah. I mean, personally, it just does not make sense to me to work so hard for anything other than myself. Like, you're not building
Mhm.
equity, you're not building anything. And somebody once told me, like, that's how poor people stay poor. And I was like, bet sister, like, I'd rather fucking work my ass off. And the thing is, like, nothing is easy, mostly when you're like making shit out of scratch. Like, any type of business that you go into, I think it's going to have is learning lessons. I think it gets a little easier if you go into a field where you already have some experience because like this, like I already kind of knew, I reflected on, oh, like business up and down, let me kind of incorporate
Yeah.
some things that I already know. But I know some people that like will open a coffee shop and never been a barista before. That is crazy to me. You know, hey, you don't know anything about hospitality or coffee and you're opening a coffee shop. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
why? But yeah, I think you learn as you go. Maybe you will end up not liking it. I think honestly, I've always been like, Ella, you should write.
I mean, that's like the ultimate goal. Like, I honestly just see myself being a screenwriter. So I'm gonna pull out that script this week too. Because I think and that's why sometimes it's like, why do you want I don't know, like why are you working so hard? What's this all for? And it's like, well, ultimately I just want to make enough money so that I can be like a full-time artist, you know?
Mm.
Or have a gig that isn't so like 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I mean, I also think it's like about place. In Seattle, a lot of the comedy scene is kind of like that. I don't know. In New York, I feel like it's a little different. The comedy, a lot of the people that like write for the bigger shows will come test out material at different like open mics and stuff like that. And those are usually earlier, and it's not like as crazy. You're only there for like an hour because it's like fast. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it just kind of like depends where you're at as well.
You know, it always comes back. You know, who will know where I'm gonna be for a year from now? You know what I'm saying? Like life happens and I like go where opportunities are. So, you know, who knows what's gonna be that's like the cool thing about like life, I guess, is that like you can really change it up within a year.
Oh my god, so much, so
Mhm.
much.
I mean, look at you. You're already like 6 months into
I know.
quitting a 9 to 5. How beautiful.
And I was so scared. I honestly like it has not been easy. I was watching this man talk about like why I hated moving from LA to New York, and everything he said was like very like first world problem. Like you have to carry your groceries, you can't park anywhere. It's true though. Like New York is not for the weak. Okay, like everything you do is gonna be like manual fucking labor, regardless of what you're doing. Whether you're taking subway, whether like
Mhm.
there's just so many fucking. So I'm like proud that we're still standing. Obviously, I would like to be in like a different sort of like vibe position financially. We're gonna get there. I think it's just gonna take a lot longer. Today, I was reflecting on that. I was like, damn, has it really been 10 years since like some of the things that I wanted have brought into fruition? But it took 10 years, you know what I mean? So I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, damn it.
I mean, I think like Ziwa was like it takes like the very famous saying is that it takes like 10 years to be an overnight success. And I feel that truly. Like I feel like I don't know, like that's why you just can't give up too early. You know what I'm saying? Like if you give up too early, it'll never come to fruition. Everything takes longer than you think it's going to take and like, you know, I'm just hoping to be an overnight success in about 3 years from now, you know? Cuz then that's been about 10 years of me working on something.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. I think in our path to whatever it is that you have direction, you can always have a good side quest.
Oh yeah, baby. We love a good side quest. Ooh, let's get into it. Okay, so like the idea of side quests is originates from gaming, right? When you're playing a game that has story mode, there's like the main storyline. In the main storyline, you can like do these side quests that helps develop characters. And I am all about side quests just because I feel like I don't know. What sometimes you just gotta do something that's like a little random. Like I know I'll tell coworkers I'll do something, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of random." And I'm like, "Life's random,
Yeah.
baby." Like, yeah, it is a little random that I fucking went to do pottery this weekend and I haven't touched a fucking pottery wheel in fucking 20 years. It is a little random, but it was fun. It was a fun little side quest.
Yeah, I think that a side quest can come from like a deep rooted motivational thing, or you can just like for shits and gigs. You know what I mean? All the best
Mhm.
side quests are often all vibes, no plan, kind of seeing where you end up. I've had a ton of side quests. I am a side quest queen. Okay, currently is DJing mainly because I
Yeah.
finally there's a board at my house, so, like, why would I not utilize an expensive piece of equipment that I have access to? It feels wrong not to.
Yeah. Love it.
And it's taught me a lot, you know, like I at least about music, about putting things together, about I now like when I walk into spaces, I do feel like, damn, this DJ is not like like really seeing what their crowd is feeling. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just have to like switch shit up. I see audio things a little bit different as well. And now when I go to festivals, I kind of can see what people are doing while they're doing it. And I think,
It definitely, like, it's a I think trying something that you really appreciate, even if you don't think you're gonna be great at it can bring you just, like, so much love for that thing, right?
yeah, at 100%. And also something that you already appreciate. I feel like when I was mixing and my boyfriend likes different type of music, he sings a certain way and I was like, I don't want to do it like that. And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I've just listened to different types of music and I know that there's other ways to do something, so I'm not going to do it like that." And I think that's also cool to see how people's brains work differently and like what you can
Yeah.
bring together. Cause I feel like I've learned something from him and I was like, there's no rules. Why are there rules? I was like, there doesn't need to be rules. There's like no book to this. We're not competing for anything. You know what I mean? Like,
You know, it's an art form in a way.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and there's no right way to do art. And I think sometimes it's like a side quest is just like doing anything without expecting like a positive result. Like I feel like we live in like this capitalistic society where it's like you can't do anything if it isn't adding value. You know, like if it's not adding stockholder value, then why are you doing it? But it's like no, the funnest side quests are just like random things you decide to do. Like I guess my Ariel Silk side quest was like really fun. Let me tell you, there's a lot of girls who put, like, their heart and soul in there, and they're in there every single day, and that's almost like a main character, main storyline quest, but then there's just me, like, watching them
yeah.
having fun, and then
Like,
I'm
ah!
in there fucking spinning in the back, and they're like, "Okay, let me help you," you know? It doesn't like, you don't have to it doesn't have to be your whole thing for you to get enjoyment or for it to have some sort of value in your
That's beautiful that you can be present in other people's main plot as like a side
Mhm.
character.
I think that's something really beautiful about life because it's like I can't truly experience everything. Like there's just I only have this one human vessel. I can't be the best shuffler, I can't be the best DJ. I can't also be like the best fashion designer, art, whatever. You just can't do it all. So it's like how do I gain appreciation? It's just like fucking popping in and either A helping people with something I'm good at, like okay, like hey, you're good at this, but you don't know how to make a fucking video. Like, let me help you out, girl. I think those side quests are really fun.
I feel like everyone's an artist, and I feel like there's a limited thinking sometimes where people are like, I'm not artistic. And I'm like, yeah, you are. You just don't practice any expression. That's different. That doesn't mean that it's not in you. You just like don't practice it, which I think I've seen that more and more that I see a lot of artists in New York that have different modes of expression. Like one girl pole dances, and like that's a movement expression. You know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
she also paints, and then she also makes things. And I'm like, oh, there she's just expressing herself in a lot of different sort of like mediums and I think that's really cool. I think more people should try that. And I think like her main thing isn't to get better at pole dancing. That's just a method of
Yeah, I love that method of expression. I think another thing like that can be a side quest is like exploring a new part of the map. I always feel like you should like venture out of your comfort zone, even if that's into a different neighborhood. And
mm,
I've seen this more recently as an adult, and it's such a weird thing where it's like I think like when I went to Chicago and I was like, "Oh, I wanna go into Pilsen and, like, go see some things." And so I look up, like, best coffee shop in Pilsen, and the first thing is this Reddit post, like, "I would never come here, like, be fucking careful, da 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 da." I go there and I'm like, "Okay, you guys, like,
it's
you
chill.
guys
It's chill.
it's very chill, like, it's mostly like it's a historic Hispanic neighborhood, like, but besides that, like, it is not giving scary, and before y'all jump down my throat like, "Oh, you should be there at night," or "That's fucking dangerous, that's bad advice," I'm just saying, like, you don't need to stay in, like, the safe this very limited view of, like, what safe is. Like, okay, I'm not telling you, like, to go to an unsafe neighborhood, but, like, hop outside of your bubble. If you live within like a 2-mile radius of your house, like go do something different one time.
There's lots of things been going around my neighborhood. Personally, I've never felt unsafe. Are there some people that hang out around certain delis that may or may not be giving things to people in cars? Yeah, but like that's none of my business, and I never make it my business. Okay, and when I got here, there was like caution tape surrounding an entire area because there had been a shooting. However, I had never like grown up in like a gated community, so I was just like, I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna go about my business. And now I've also been hitting kind of like a side quest in my neighborhood, which I work at a restaurant in my that I never feel like that's my main character role because I feel like I'm playing the role of a server. Okay,
Yeah.
and now learning to bartend. Thank God. So as this role, I've also just like gotten to know a lot more people in my neighborhood. Yesterday, I was invited to a bodega across the street where they have a pool table and you can go hang out under the bodega, but only if you're like cool with the people there. And I had
Right.
never been invited before. And I'm like, well, the more you know.
Yeah, it's because now you're like actually like a member of the
The
community. You
community.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No shade, no tea. I just sometimes see like food people who only go to like restaurants where I'm like, you're really limiting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just very much limiting yourself out of some joyous food
Bomb food.
experiences
Yeah.
because you're not going to go on a little side quest outside of your upper middle class neighborhood. Come on now. Like this is the best food in the city? Probably not. At least go down to the international district, like
Yeah. Every time I go to Mexico and they're like, oh, did you try this restaurant and this restaurant? I'm like, no, I eat on the street. Okay. I go to whatever market I can find where there's vendors just set up on the street. And that's where I know it's going to be bomb.
I mean, yeah, go explore to go on a side quest and go on a random trip. Like, I'm so full, like, putting your full Badoosie into traveling to random places, and, like, I sometimes feel like, in my experience, travel can be as inexpensive or as expensive as you want, and it mostly is based off of, like, how uncomfortable do you wanna be? Because sometimes I see people being like, "Oh, like, it's gonna cost you" like, I don't know how to explain this except for, like, of course, if you live in the city c of course, if you're gonna go to the city center and stay in a Hilton, that's gonna be a lot more expensive than staying in a local neighborhood. That's still safe, like, I'm talking about Thailand. If you stay in the middle of Bangkok, it's gonna be way more expensive than you stay in a suburb of Bangkok, equally as safe. "Oh, but then I'm gonna have to figure out public transportation in another country." Babes, you've
You're
got this,
joking.
okay? Stop limiting yourself, go on a side quest, push your fucking character development by learning how to use the train system in Thailand, okay? Allow that
Period.
discomfort.
Honestly, a solo side quest really is character building. Okay. Sometimes you just have to.
Mhm.
You can always bring a buddy, but like there's something about doing it alone that will make you figure it out, which is really that's a good tool of life. All right. I've seen a lot of
Mhm.
people not being able to figure shit out, and then they look around you and somebody else has to figure it out. It will change your life when you start figuring shit out for yourself and knowing, like, oh my God, I had never got like when I started going to festivals alone or like would stay with a lot of people I didn't know and be like the only person and hit up my own routes, like I'm gonna see you in 2 hours type of thing. I really enjoyed that part.
Like, dead ass, like, this is just my feeling. Like, if you're gonna pay a lot of money, go and see the people you wanna see. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for instance, I went to Coachella, no one wanted to see Amel and the Sniffers, alright? Actually, some people did, but I was the only person that was like, gun ho, need to see this band. Now look at them. Now they're Grammy Award. No, they were Grammy nominated this year. Okay. But 5 years ago, I fucking was like, I need to go, and no one else wanted to go with me. And actually, I'll give my boyfriend credit. He said he, but I just meant like the whole group was like, no, 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 we should go see this instead. And it was some popular band that I didn't give a fuck about. Okay. I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna have to like go 10 toes down and see almonds, and that was like the best decision. As like, see, you can't just like go on a crowd, go on a little side quest for what the fuck you want to do.
You gotta be brave, babes. You will probably be pleasantly surprised. You know, it's not like I think the thing about bravery is not that you don't experience fear, is that you decide to like say, okay, I am scared, but I am still going to do this. Like that is what makes a person brave. That is courage, and I think that you will surprise yourself. You will probably even become more confident in yourself, more assertive if that's something like you are working on. I feel like before I would like be like, should I go by myself? Should I not go by myself? And now it's like a no brainer. Like I wanna do that, they don't wanna do that. I'm cool, I'll see you on the other side.
The thing with bravery too is once you step on the other side, you don't know what you were really afraid of because at least for me, I build shit up. I build shit up to be like scary, cringy, embarrassing, and then you just do it. And then you're like, oh, wait, none of those were true. Like, those were just assumptions I made about my future experience. And then, the next time, like, maybe you don't need to hype up the fear,
because
you
you
know?
know you're gonna be okay on the other side, or at least you trust yourself enough. I feel like sometimes this is also true in friendships and relationships. I definitely believe that you and a relationship can be a side quest, okay, or like a friend group. That may be something that like you just deter from whatever you're doing to hit, and then swerve back around.
I I feel like that there's just, like, relationships that just teach you what you don't want, and honestly, like, sometimes dating outside of your comfort zone, like, you're like, "Ugh, I would never date this guy because of XYZ," you know?
Yes.
And then you do it, and then you're like, either I was right or I was wrong, or it was just like a fun experience that you can just talk about later. We love a good story, and it's something you could like just bring up, and it's like that was kind of random, but at least it was like a good time while it was a good time.
And you might learn a thing or two or have like a really cool experience. I once went on like a few dates with a man that like skydiving and like all this sort of like I said you're too cool for me just because I have anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he did things that like really did push me to be like, okay, people live the world a little differently. And mad love, I still have this person in my life, just not probably can't keep up with that. But I really enjoyed my time with that.
right?
Yeah, 100%. Also in relationships, like sometimes we do it to ourselves where we like, at least I did, date the same type of people to like kind of reaffirm notions I already knew. And that really kept me from like being vulnerable somewhere deep inside. I feel like I just didn't necessarily want to give myself a chance to see what was on the other side. Like if I tried something different. And then I saw this tech talk that said, like, you've healed enough, you gotta go put yourself into some situations and trust that your nervous system, that you have done the work to get through that situation differently. I think that's beautiful. Okay. I think
Mhm.
what a side quest it is to choose something different, trusting yourself that, like, I put enough work on this, that maybe it's spooky, scary, that I'm going to be okay.
Beautiful for what you said is like showing yourself growth by like putting yourself in a scary situation. Why don't I just change something up just for the sake of changing it up? Like, let me change my coffee order, or like, let me get tea instead of coffee. Like, just something little shit. And then you discover new things you wouldn't know you by just like going on like a little side quest and making one choice that's different than what you would usually.
Mhm. I had a girl one time I made like just like a funny TikTok of fake tarot cards. And they had to go to Set's dead. And then a
Mhm.
girl told me that she went to Set's dead because of that. She was like, I don't know. I watched it and I said, fuck it. And I bought the ticket and I went. And she was like, and then I met the love of my life. And like,
Oh,
so I was like, I'm a witch, but also I was like, see, she hit like the most random side quest because of me. Therefore, let her to find love. That this is, awesome love. But at the end of the day, like she could have never met that man.
it's crazy. I was like talking to somebody about like the apps or whatever, and they were just like, I want to meet someone IRL, and I was like, I mean, totally. It's like, but you have to like put yourself out there to be in places where men are gonna be like who are you interested in, because it's like if you're at home and not going on any side quests, or if you're frequently frequenting the same place, like if you're going to the same bar, it might be a great bar, but like the chances that you're gonna meet a new person there are slim than if you go somewhere new. Like, that's just facts.
Yeah. And I think that's like in the realm of manifestation and all of that is like action. You need to showcase action for things to happen. Like you can't like sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm manifesting this," and do nothing about it. Like that's not how life works. So I think like the more you give yourself like chances and opportunities for things to come up, because even if you were to meet like kind of I do believe there's like right person wrong time, because sometimes there's versions of
Mhm.
you that are just like not maybe into the same activity that you bonded over with your significant other. Like, you know what I mean? I know with like my current boyfriend, he didn't like EDM until like 2 years before meeting me. So it's like if he would have met me at any other point, and the reason we like kind of started hanging out with because of this music, I don't know if we would have had enough in common to like sustain a friendship at that time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
It's crazy how, like, life happens like that. I kinda sometimes think about, like, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is just basically every decision branches off into, like, this new version of life, and in that movie, like, every version exists, but I kinda think about that sometimes. It's just like one decision can, like, change everything, but you never know when that's gonna be, so, like, taking a bias for action, right? Like, instead of, like, "Let me just do the same thing I do every day," that's not really side quest, like, that's routine, which and nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that, but if you never branch out, there's, like, never gonna be a moment of change if you doing everything the same. So, like, a side quest is, like, challenging yourself to give yourself, like, the momentum of change.
The momentum to steer shit up just a little bit to see what the vibe brings. Side quests that I've looped back around, but like learned fun things, met cool people. Definitely like flow arts. Like, I got on my
Mhm.
whip. I would say the things that I've learned from that is how to feel my body differently and take up more space in general in dancing and anything. Just because I don't know, I used to feel like I was so awkward in my body movement. And it wasn't until I started with this light up whip, like moving around, that I just felt a little saucy. Like there's
Mhm.
like a like I never enjoy when a man calls me sexy. Like I feel that's weird, but I enjoy feeling like sexy with it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I finally found that with this situation. But that's something like I carried on whenever I dance. It's kind of like for myself, and I feel like that. But that brought that. It also brought me to meet new different types of people at shows. I will say a
Mhm.
lot of people that do more of like the light shows and stuff like that, they're more peculiar types. I would say they're either like more quiet once you start talking to them, kind of like their own world. I quite enjoy that. You know what they don't do at shows? Yap.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect." And now we can both shut the fuck up and dance with our light toys together.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful, and, like, honestly, I feel like you do side quests and you've gotta revitalize something within yourself that you forgot. Like, I recently went on a organized family karaoke, okay? We had, like, 25 of us in a karaoke room in Capitol Hill. It was literally the funnest time I feel like I've had as my family, and part of it was, like I don't wanna say, like, there's no talking, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all just, like it felt, like, spiritual because we were just sharing all of our
Energy.
favorite
Right.
songs,
Yes.
because karaoke isn't like, "Let me sing something I don't know." It's the songs that you know and you love, so you, like, kinda share a little bit about yourself in karaoke. My go-tos are like, "Let me do some musical tunes, okay?" And then I just, like, sparked something in myself where I'm like, "You know what? I need to get back into some voice lessons." Like, I actually have some decent pipes that maybe I should not have listened to that director who said I didn't have a main lead voice. Fuck that bitch, okay? But this would have never happened if I didn't independently decide to go on this karaoke side quest. Highly recommend.
We highly recommend any type of expression. Sharing things with people that they like is all. A side quest could literally be doing your best friend's favorite.
Yes, like, going to their favorite I mean, like, I'm a group fitness person. I love bringing people to do my workout with me, and it's just, like, a fun thing that they wouldn't usually do, It's like, "Why would you come to the studio if you don't live in this neighborhood?" Yada, yada, yada. Someone talks about something that they like, "Oh, like, I love this restaurant." You should be like, "Oh, I'd love to go with you sometime."
Yeah.
Invite yourself to do things that people like.
A side
Engage.
character in their main plot.
Yeah. Literally, just, like, speak up.
Yeah,
You build connections.
period. So we love a side quest. Another great side quest is subscribing and following us. We're at things number for your concern.
I'm at LL Tutor.
Thanks.
You're at Berenice DSM.
Oh yeah, but you can just follow me at things for your concern. We all cross. It's like everything is connected. You know what I mean?
These aren't characters per se. So podcast is us, so us is podcast.
As this podcast. Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next
Happy
week.
holidays. Bye.